India's domestic industrial sector is expanding at a rapid pace. To keep factories running, steel mills firing, and infrastructure projects moving across the subcontinent, the nation requires a continuously massive amount of power. But there is a glaring vulnerability built into this growth. Because domestic energy production hasn't kept pace with industrial demand, the country relies heavily on foreign fuel arriving by sea, imported inside the colossal spherical tanks of specialized cargo vessels. This chart tracks the rising cost of that reliance. While India's GDP line climbs steadily, you can see the secondary line, the multi-billion-dollar energy import bill, accelerating right alongside it, draining capital that could otherwise stay inside the country. Buying power from other nations at a premium creates a structural bottleneck. If a country cannot control the fuel that runs its own economy, its long-term independence is always capped by the global market. To solve that problem, energy explorers are looking hundreds of miles away from the mainland, mapping the remote waters surrounding the Andaman and Nicobar Islands. Deep beneath the ocean floor near these islands, survey teams recently struck something massive: 2 major natural gas discoveries at the offshore Vijayapuram 2 and Vijayapuram 3 exploration sites. Initial reports point to a huge volume of hydrocarbon reserves trapped in the rock, making this one of the most promising domestic energy finds in recent memory. Securing a viable, large-scale domestic gas supply in this specific location offers a direct alternative to those expensive sea imports, providing an internally controlled power source for the mainland. Under maritime law, a nation holds sovereign rights over resources within 200 nautical miles of its coastline, its exclusive economic zone. The Andaman Islands generate an enormous zone that remains virtually untouched by modern survey equipment. The reason it remains untouched is simple geography. The Bay of Bengal is notorious for its deep, high-pressure waters and unpredictable, violent storms. Operating out here requires specialized heavy machinery. Crews anchor massive lattice legs directly into the seabed to hold a platform steady enough to punch a single hole through the crust. So while the rights to the seabed belong strictly to India, physically extracting the gas hidden beneath it is a highly dangerous engineering challenge. To force a breakthrough, the government has authorized an incredibly aggressive capital push, setting $100 billion targets specifically for energy exploration. The recent strikes at the Vijayapuram sites justify that massive budget. They prove to the rest of the world that the hydrocarbon reserves in this basin are completely real, extractable, and financially viable. That proof is specifically aimed at attracting the world's largest global energy conglomerates, the multinational corporations that possess the specialized deep-water drilling technology that domestic operators currently lack. These foreign players deploy cutting-edge drill ships equipped with dynamic positioning systems and heavily reinforced central derrick towers, capable of drilling miles beneath the ocean surface. The strategy relies on joint ventures. Foreign companies provide the advanced hardware and offshore expertise, while the Indian state provides the territorial rights and the resource itself. To make sure these deals happen quickly, regulators are actively stripping away bureaucratic red tape, fast-tracking approvals to get foreign rigs into Indian waters. That $100 billion commitment operates as a global signal flare, broadcasting to international markets that the Andaman Basin is open for business. This visualizes the direct economic math. Every cubic meter of gas pumped from the seabed physically shrinks the amount of fuel bought on the expensive global market. The billions saved on foreign import bills flow back into the domestic economy, funding infrastructure and industrial jobs. By sourcing its own fuel, the nation builds an economic shield, insulating its supply chains from the price shocks of international conflicts and shipping delays. The Andaman and Nicobar chain is transitioning from a strategic military outpost into a central node for industrial energy production. However, introducing heavy extraction machinery into this region requires strict environmental oversight to ensure the delicate coral reef ecosystems surrounding the islands are not compromised. Sourcing fuel from within the Bay of Bengal reduces the volume of tankers traversing these waters, changing India's footprint along regional trade routes. The discoveries at Vijayapuram provide the fuel to sustain India's industrial growth from within its own waters, redrawing the country's economic borders.